I found a birthday card hidden in my husband's closet. It was addressed to a daughter he swore never existed. My husband, Ryan, was the most organized person I'd ever met. So when I found an old birthday card tucked inside a shoebox in the back of his closet, I assumed it had been misplaced. The front read, "Happy 10th birthday, Emma, I'll always love you. Dad." My heart stopped. Ryan and I had been married for 8 years. He'd always told me he'd never had children. I stared at the card for several minutes before putting it back exactly where I'd found it. That night, I barely slept. The next morning, I asked him as casually as I could, "Have you ever known someone named Emma?" His coffee cup froze halfway to his mouth. Then he smiled. "No," too quickly, too confidently. It was the first time I'd ever caught him lying. For the next week, I said nothing. Instead, I searched public records, old social media accounts, and newspaper archives. Nothing. It was as if Emma had never existed. Then, while organizing old tax documents, I noticed a bank transfer that repeated every single month. The recipient's name wasn't Emma. It was a children's rehabilitation center in another city. I called the center. They wouldn't give me information, but they did say one thing. "We're grateful for Mr. Ryan Carter's support. He's been helping one of our residents for years." Residents, not patients. I drove there the next day. The receptionist assumed I was family and asked me to wait. 5 minutes later, a teenage girl in a wheelchair rolled into the room. She smiled at me. "Are you Dad's wife?" I couldn't answer. She laughed softly. "He finally got married." Before I could speak, Ryan rushed through the entrance. His face went completely white. "I can explain." I looked at Emma, then back at him. "You'd better." Ryan took a deep breath. "When I was 20, I dated Emma's mother. We broke up before I knew she was pregnant. By the time he'd found out, Emma was already 3. Her mother wanted nothing from him. No child support, no shared custody, nothing. Then, when Emma was 9, her mother died in a car accident. Ryan tried to take custody, but because he'd never been listed as the legal father, Emma entered foster care while the courts sorted everything out. Before they could finish, Emma suffered a spinal injury in another accident. She eventually moved into a long-term rehabilitation home. Ryan visited every week, paid every expense, read to her, helped with homework, but he never told anyone, especially me. "Why?" I asked. He looked down. I was ashamed. "I thought you'd think I lied to trap you into marriage," Emma quietly interrupted. "He talks about you all the time. He says you're kind. I always wondered when I'd meet you." I looked at Ryan. "You didn't trust me enough to tell me. I trusted you. I didn't trust myself." For a long moment, nobody spoke. Then Emma smiled. "So, does this mean I finally get to know my stepmom?" I laughed through tears. "Only if you promise to beat me at board games." She grinned. "Oh, you're definitely losing." Every Saturday after that, we visited together. 6 months later, the paperwork was finally completed. Ryan legally became Emma's father, and I officially became her stepmother. People often ask if I was angry. The truth? Yes. Not because Ryan had a daughter, because he carried that burden alone for years. Sometimes the biggest secrets aren't kept to deceive the people we love. They're kept because we're afraid they'll see us differently. Ryan finally trusted me with the truth, and our family became bigger because of it. If you discovered your spouse had hidden a child from you for years, but for reasons that weren't selfish, could you forgive them, or would the secrecy be too much to overcome?